Hey viewers, I'm your host Bckwrdbbq and welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole. This week we're going to be talking about Gremlins. Let's go down the rabbit hole. The movie was written by Chris Columbus, who later went on to direct the first two Harry Potter movies. He only wrote the script as a demo and did not expect the script to actually be picked up and made. His version of the script was much darker and involved the mom getting decapitated, and Gizmo actually turning into the main villain. Michael Sembello, who wrote the song Maniac for Flashdance, actually wrote a song for Gremlins called Mega Madness. However, in the final version of the film, it can only be heard in the background during the bar scene. Gizmo was voiced by Howie Mandel.
Then I did all the Gremlin movies. I'm Gizmo, the first little fuzzy one that got wet and started all the Gremlins. It's not that great, go get the DVD. He goes, come on, same voice. So this is...
On the Gremlins poster, the button on Billy's jeans actually has the Amblin logo featuring E.T. and Elliot on the flying bike. The man Billy shows his drawing to is Chuck Jones.
Excuse me, Mr. Jones.
Each puppet cost between 30,000 and 40,000 pounds. They were so expensive that they would actually check the contents of the actors' trunks in their cars before they were allowed to leave at night. Kingston Falls is actually the same set used as Hill Valley in Back to the Future.
Gremlins, bite after bite. What a tasty way to satisfy a gremlin.
And there was a Gremlin cereal. In the Invention Convention, Steven Spielberg makes a cameo, and there is a time machine in the background that disappears. And there was actually a Gremlins anti-drinking commercial.
Proper care and feeding of a teenager. Number one rule, don't let them drink alcohol.
Steven Spielberg actually considered Tim Burton to direct the movie, but because he had never directed a feature-length film before, he passed and went with Joe Dante. Joe Dante later turned down Batman to direct Gremlins 2. Gremlins and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom were two movies that were very influential in the creation of PG-13. The movie was so violent that during the first screening, a mother actually pulled her daughter out of the movie and went and yelled at Joe Dante. This event was recreated in Gremlins 2. Gremlins 2 exists because the studio wanted a guaranteed moneymaker and didn't care if the movie was terrible, and so they gave Joe Dante complete creative control. Terry Jones of Monty Python actually was very influential in putting the movie in New York City. However, their budget didn't allow for them to destroy the Empire State Building, so they instead put all of the Gremlins in one building for the entire movie. The theatrical version of the movie includes a scene in which the Gremlins take over the projector room. Hulk Hogan makes an appearance in this version.
Gremsters can stand up to the Hulkster? Well, if I were you, I'd run the rest of Gremlins too, right now!
In the VHS version, the Gremlins instead flip through the channels and find a John Wayne movie.
Now, go on back to your own movie.
Because the lip sync is so difficult to perform live and takes so many people, and because Tony Randall talks so quickly in this film, I decided that the best way to do that is to pre-program all the lip sync dialogue and perform the rest of it live. Then you actually just program the upper lip first, and then the lower lip and the tongue and the jaw, each at a separate pass, and then the Gilder flip will play it back at real time.
Boy, this is a really good movie! And there you have it. A true unsolicited testimonial from Gizmo himself.
Rick Baker did not want to work on Gremlins 2 because the creatures already existed and he did not want to work on someone else's creation. Joe Dante then gave Rick Baker complete creative control and allowed him to create all of the new Gremlins he wanted to create.
You know, Gremlins, I turned Gremlins down numerous times, Gremlins 2, because I wasn't all that interested. You know, where I have fun is doing the design and you know, creating a character that hadn't been done before. And this was already established by Chris Walas in the first movie. And I just said, I'm not that interested, you know. And they kept after me and they said, what can we do to interest you? And I said, well, if I can redesign them a little bit, you know, still stay in the Gremlins world, but I said, more than anything, I want to make them characters.
The animatronics in Gremlins 2 is far more advanced, and Gizmo is actually slightly larger to accommodate the new animatronics. There is actually a Gremlins ride in Movie World in Australia and Germany. The Australian version features a cameo from Beetlejuice, and the German version features a cameo from Elf. We learn about the Mogwai's backstory from the official novelization by George Geit. The Mogwai were invented by the scientist Mogterman from the planet Ens. They were invented to be intelligent and completely peaceful. They were intended to be sent to every inhabitable planet in order to teach those planets about peace. There was a miscalculation. However, not every Mogwai turns evil. Gizmo is among the few that are known as Eternals. Joe Dante, on the other hand, says the whole novel is made up and that you get Mogwai by breeding pandas with dragons.
Mugwai is what I am, doesn't age. The Mugwai vocal cord is actually attached to the, what is that thing that hangs down?
Uvula?
The uvula, but it remains taut regardless of how old a Mugwai, I don't know.
Now I just want to take a moment to tell the story of how Zach Galligan stole $10 from me. So I went to get Zach Galligan, who played Billy, to autograph my VHS copy. Autographs were $20. I handed $100 to his manager. At this point, he leans over to her and says, "After them, we're gonna take lunch." We started talking. We were talking for several minutes. She says, "Your change is $70. She hands it to me. I know something's wrong. I count it. It is $70, so I put it away. Few minutes later, after we finish talking, we walk away, and my brother says, "Did she give you the wrong change?" We turn around, and they are both gone. That's it for this episode. Here's a clue about the next episode. Be sure to leave a comment about what you think the episode will be about, and be sure to subscribe so you can find out for sure when I post. Until next time, may the Force be with you.